This is the view you should see when you are logged into CK-12. If you simply created an account without using the link I gave you, you will need to access our PowerPoint that is in the OLS in order to get those codes. Um, and from here, you have a couple of options. Specifically, if you're not in any classes, you can always click on have a class code here where you would type it in. But the easiest thing for you to do once you're here is to simply go click on classes, especially if you don't know if you're in a class or not. If you click there, it's going to show all the classes that you're enrolled in. If you are not enrolled in any classes, it will be blank and it will instruct you to join a class. If you need to join a class, you'll simply click on this link. It'll ask you for the class code and then you can join. I am going to go ahead and click on one of these classes since I've already joined them. You should only be a member of one class. You don't need multiples. So I'm simply going to click on session 5 and it will automatically bring me into my session 5 class page. And here you've got a handful of options and a handful of features. You have a question and answer board where you could post a question or post a response to your classmates if you had a question about something you don't understand. If you need to ask me a question but you didn't want to email, you have that ability there. Home is where you can see all of the activities that have been going on, specifically when I post new assignments. And if you want to see all of the assignments that have been posted, you will simply click on the assignments link. Here you'll see that there are 14 different assignments. Some of them will be completed, some are required, some are not. And this number will vary. It just depends how many I have assigned to you. So in order to access the assignments, you'll simply click here. It will pull up all of the assignments that you need to work on, predominantly those incomplete ones. If they have a due date, they are required. If they do not, they are just support materials that are there to help you. There are a lot here. These were just posted simply because these were the ones that were available when I made this video. But you can go through here anytime it's a color due date, it means it's overdue. It will also tell you if they're past due or not. But when you go and you click on an assignment, for example, I'm going to click on types of galaxies assignment. It will pull up this information. And for this assignment, there's 2 activities. I need to complete the practice questions with each of these lessons. So I'm going to click start. And once I click start, it's going to bring me to this page. It says this assignment was due on Thursday, October 31st. So I need to make sure that I am staying on task and making sure that I am not falling behind. Specifically right now with this video, a lot of the assignments you'll see on CK-12 are recovery work. They're alternate assignments to help your grade for first semester. But once you have clicked on your assignment, you will simply click on Start Practicing. And with this assignment, it's telling you that you need to answer 10 questions correctly. So as I go through here, this first question, our solar system belongs to the blank galaxy. What galaxy are we in? We're in the Milky Way. I got one right. And I'll keep going. And if I am stuck, I can simply click Get a Hint, and it will give me some kind of hint at the bottom to help me answer that question. I also have scratch pad, which is just scratch paper. If I need to work out something, I can simply draw my responses here. I can clear it if I need to. You've got this thinking space here for you to fill out. Let's say I just start getting questions wrong. It's going to say try scratch pad as the tool. That's if I need to use notes or anything like that. But one thing that can also happen is I'm going to click a handful of questions. And yes, I know I'm getting these wrong, but I want to show you one feature that this has. And it'll give you a skill level, but as you go through it, if you are missing too many questions in a row, let's say spiral, and I can check it. I got it wrong again. Okay. It's going to, once I have gotten to a point where I've answered too many questions incorrectly, it's going to provide me with some review activities. And then by answering these questions, they can try to narrow down, okay, where is your disconnect? What aren't you understanding? So what is not true of globular clusters? And some of these questions are going to be things that you may not know. To be honest, I'm not entirely 100% sure what a globular cluster is, because we really didn't talk about star clusters. We talked about galaxies, we've talked about lots of other things, but this is not a term that I would necessarily be familiar with as a student. So I'm going to click on C. Again, it's wrong. Again, that's okay if I got it incorrect. So I'm going to click next. Star systems are groups of blank stars. I'm going to say 1,000. And it will give me recommendations. So once it gives me these recommendations, it will walk me through some resources that I have. And I'm not going to be able to go back to practice those questions to turn in the assignment until I've completed at least one of these things. So if I click on read, it'll load. And I will go through and I will read whatever article. Normally it would pop up. My internet is being really slow today, so it's not officially loading. Oh, here we go. Just takes a minute. So I can go through here and I can read. Again, I'm not very familiar with star clusters. I'm very familiar with galaxies, but not necessarily the clusters. I need some more help. So I can go through here. I can read through all of this material. It will give me additional information to help me better answer these questions. So as I go through and I read, star clusters are smaller than a galaxy. You have open and globular. Both types are held together by galaxy. And then it breaks down these different clusters. Okay, so I can just keep going and reading about this. It'll give me a summary at the end. It will ask me some questions. And then they also have a video that I could watch to help support what I just read about. There's more video questions. Once I have gone through that and I feel confident that I have my understanding and my knowledge, I can close out of here. It still has my resources here. So you can, if you want more information, you can continue to use the others, but you'll notice it's unlocked and now I can return back to my practice. If I were to keep going, I will get these questions. I'll start getting the questions right. Notice that even though I was getting them wrong, it doesn't make me start over at the beginning. It will continue to add up how many questions I get correct. Once you keep going, and you are getting these answers correct, and you keep going, you will continue, your skill level will change, and you will continue to see improvement, and you continue. All right, so didn't necessarily get that one right, and that's okay. It didn't necessarily change my skill level. It kept it the same. All of the above, so I keep going. Ideally, you're going to keep going until you get to that 10. That's the goal. Now, these are case sensitive, so I think so. Sometimes you may not get that one right, and that's okay. So I click next. I think, nope, Andromeda, I still got that wrong, but it will still keep going. A spiral. You keep going. So now I got 10 right, and it says you got 10. You can continue to practice if you want to keep going through it. If you're finished, that's fine, and you can click stop for now. It will submit the practice. Once you have finished this part and you have finished the entire assignment, you will see that there is a turn in feature. You have to turn it in. So here I finished this one. I met my practice goal on my first concept. For galaxies, I'm going to click turn in. Continue. Now this concept is a part of it. I've submitted it. I got a 100. And then I can go on to the next concept. This is how I do my practice. This is how I do my assignment. I'm going to go ahead and stop here. Hopefully you figured out how to navigate through this part. I'm going to close back out because there's another